Hey, you're back. Well, cool, welcome. This is going to be episode or volume number, whatever you want to call it, number 2 of Fits Fun Fitness. And before we get started, I know we are going to get to the fitness part. I mean, hopefully that's what you Googled, so you want to find some stuff out about exercising. But before we get started, I just wanted to talk about, I know last time we met, I was telling you a little about all the different sports I've participated in, the fact that I've been working out for about 30 years. I figured for those academics among you, and you want to know, okay, well, professionally, what kind of experience do you have? I have an undergrad degree from Northern Illinois University in exercise science. I graduated in the top of my class. I spent a few years working in private health clubs. I then worked as a personal trainer. After that, I worked with OTs and PTs in therapy setting for about 2 years, assisting them with, helping with patients with the therapy and doing some diagnostic testing with EMT, working on muscle facilitation and finding out different muscles that weren't activating during types of exercise, trying to target them and help the patients actually start activating and facilitating certain muscles after exercise injuries. After that, I also got certified in diagnostic ultrasound. Then I did kind of a 180, but sort of a switch. I was a funeral director embalmer for 13 years. It sounds like a complete switch, but when you think about it, the embalming part, anatomy, physiology, everything like that. And for the next 9 years, or for the last 9 years, I've been working at a local public high school in the special ed department, but I've also, during that time, I've coached girls cross country, and I've helped with boys track, and I coach girls track, and I'm also the co-facilitator of the yoga club. So, if that makes you feel good, in the words of Bill Murray, so I got that going for me, which is good. So hopefully that puts your mind at rest. So without further ado, I want to start. So I was trying to figure out what my first exercise that I'd like to share with you guys would be, and decided it would be the push-up. The push-up is, I think, one of the most underrated exercises. I think it's a fantastic exercise. It works on the core, it works on the shoulders, the chest, the arms, the back, triceps, every part. And everyone knows how to do it, except most people, when they hear push-up, the first thing they think is, oh my gosh, flashback to grammar school or high school, the President's Fitness Challenge, that one day of the year where one or two of your friends becomes a superstar and you waddle and sit there and say, oh gosh, I don't want to have to do this publicly. Or you think about, drop and give me 20. So I'm hoping to put a different spin on that, and we're going to step into the other room now, and I'm going to show you some tips and how to do the push-up. All right? Take it. Okay, and here we are on the floor of my basement. And a key word here being floor. One of the great things I think about the push-up is I say everyone can do it, or most people. I'm going to show you how almost everyone can do it. And one thing I love about it is you basically only need about 3 things. You need a floor, you need gravity, and you need your body weight. Some of us have more body weight than we wish, some of us don't have enough. You each have your own wishes, but we all have body weight. So without further ado, here's what I'm going to talk about. The actual push-up itself. The whole concept of it, if you think about it, it's basically a plank in which you lower yourself up and down. So with the plank itself, even just holding the plank, you're working your core, you're working your shoulders. As you lower yourself and raise yourself back up, that's when you throw in all the other muscles. You're working your chest, your shoulders, your triceps, your biceps, your back muscles. I mean, it's all together terrific. Now, one thing I forgot to mention before is about 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis. So, even though I've been lifting all these years, I had to find ways to modify to continue lifting. My wrists are irritated by the arthritis. A lot of times I don't have full contracture of my hands, and I don't have a whole lot of strength in my wrists. So different things have to be done to do some exercises. With push-ups, what you'll find is I have a lot of trouble doing the typical push-ups that most people are used to. Most people, if you notice, when you watch push-ups, they put their hands flat on the ground. So your hands are basically in touch with the ground. Your feet or the toes are in touch with the ground. And this is called a closed chain exercise. It means that you are basically in contact with the ground and you're stable. If you're doing a push-up, it's an open chain because when you think about it, that weight can still go back and forth, and it's your arms that are holding it. So what I do here is, my wrists are about just shy of 90 degrees. And a typical basic push-up is you lower yourself down slowly, pause, and then you raise yourself up. Now, the one thing you look at is if people have weaker wrists, that almost 90 degrees, that hyperextension you put your wrists, can be really stressful, especially if you have carpal tunnel or weaker wrists. So one way to strengthen your wrist or to support it is by making a fist you actually put your wrist in a very stable, solid position. So one way to accommodate if you have weak wrists is you make a fist, and you can do, they call it fist push-ups. You might have seen these in some of the martial arts films, or you'll see some martial artists working on this. Stable, solid fists, and again, lower. Now, as you're lowering yourself, notice that if you keep your elbows close to your body and up, you're working more tricep. If you turn your wrists out a little, maybe like 45 degrees or so, and let your elbows out, you actually work more chest. So the typical push-up is just up and down. Notice I'm going slow. I think the priority with a push-up is to do it slow and controlled. That way you work your muscles. I think it's harder than when you just do lots of repetitions. Plus, if you saw the front of my Facebook page and on the YouTube here, I say I'm targeting mostly people who are beginners or people 40 and 50 or older or people with arthritis, and I'm saying, you don't have to do that stuff that the young people do anymore to get in shape. We don't have to do tons of reps and do crazy. Some of us can't. It's not best for our bodies. So I'm saying that by doing slower reps, you can actually work the muscles just as hard as if you were using heavy weights. Now, I was saying one option is the fists if you have weak wrists. Another couple things, these are just push-up bars. I got these at Aldi's for about $6. Padded handles. Again, they allow your wrist to be in that stable position, has some cushioning. It also, if sometimes the pressure on your palm hurts your wrist, this gives a nice rock solid area to work on. A step up is I took the same type of things that I just took, what do you call this? Pipe insulation, and used it. A little more cushioning, and a little more adaptation or accommodation, but still you're in that wrist position. Notice this is a key position to give your solid wrist. And then if you really want to go upgrade, these are called perfect push-ups. I picked these up probably about 10, 15 years ago. They do the same thing to keep your wrist in that position. The added benefit is as you are going down, they rotate. So what's great with this is if you find that you're going down, there's stress on a certain area, your wrist or your elbow, you can actually turn your wrist and you can just adapt accordingly to avoid the pain. It also, if your body has a natural tendency to want to turn, this adapts with it. Now, the key with the push-ups that I'm saying before is I believe that you should just lower yourself as slow as possible and hold, and then come back up slowly. And you'll find that when you do this exercise slowly, your muscles start to burn quickly. That's the same type of feeling you get when you're using heavy weights. Okay, now for those of you who say, oh, you lost me, I can't even do that, here's where the accommodations come into play. These were meant for accommodating any wrist or instability that you have in your wrists or even your shoulders or upper body. Some people say, I can't do my body weight. Well, here's an accommodation. This is what they call a modified push-up. You put your knees maybe about 3-4 feet back. You're going to try to straighten your upper body so that it's about as straight as possible, and you're going to raise your legs so you're using your knees as a fulcrum. Now what you're going to do is you are just going to lower your upper body down and back up. So you're doing a push-up this way. Now you don't sit there and say that you're cheating or it's not fair. All this means is that you're lowering a lesser percentage of your body weight, but you're still doing weight. So it's like someone on the bench press who starts off just doing the bar versus someone who does 200 pounds or so. This is you doing the bar, whereas later on, when you're doing full push-up, you're doing your body weight or more. Now, if that's even too tough for you, that's no problem. Everyone's got to start somewhere. One way is if you're really having trouble with the pushing up, just do what they call negatives. It's an eccentric exercise, which means you're controlling your body against gravity. You're going to start in this position, almost like a plank, and you're just going to lower yourself slowly. You're controlling it, and you'll feel it in your triceps and your chest. And when you come down, if you're not strong enough to come back up, you can actually just reset yourself and just keep doing this. Control yourself down. And this is called negatives. Eventually, by doing this, you will get stronger in the triceps, and you get to the point where you can do the full modified push-ups, and then you can evolve into regular push-ups. Now, I don't want to get too long-winded today. There's a lot more I could talk about push-ups, but I just wanted to go over the fundamentals of them. So, oh, and again, when I was talking about push-ups, don't forget that a push-up is basically just a plank. So another thing you can do if you're having trouble doing push-ups is work on just holding a plank for a while. Once you get stable in this position, all your auxiliary muscles will be stable and strong, and eventually you'll be able to work your way to doing the full push-ups again. Okay? So hopefully I put a little twist on an old exercise that we all know. Hopefully you enjoyed it. In the future, I'm going to try to keep videos under 10 minutes because I know most people are like, I don't have time, but I will go into different things. Push-ups are a favorite of mine. I use them, incorporate them into a lot of exercises because I think there's so many things that are wonderful about them. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them on the Facebook page, and we can come back to this at other times and talk about specifics. Until next time, thanks for visiting. Have a great day.